Welcome fellow freaks, geeks, and nostalgic 90s nerds to my channel, Slime and Slashers, where, yep, we talk about everything from Nickelodeon slime to horror movie slashers, but plenty of stuff in between too. Today, it's another book haul video! You guys know how much I love those videos, and I don't want to waste any time because I've got so many books to go through that I found at this one particular bookstore. I'll tell you all about it right after this quick intro. See you back here in a second. Okay guys, welcome back. I am so excited to show you these gems that I found. I found so much good stuff at this particular bookstore. And here is the bookmark from the bookstore. So there are two locations of this store located in Jacksonville, Florida. I am in Florida right now. Obviously you might, if you've been a long-time viewer of mine, you might recognize that I'm not in my usual location. I don't have my usual set behind me. I'm at a friend's house in Florida. We're actually in Orlando right now. We were in Jacksonville a few days ago. We evacuated after Hurricane Ida. We were there for the majority of the storm, and basically it was about 8 or 9 days without power. Then we're like, we're leaving, and I need electricity to do work and stuff. But yeah, while we were in Jacksonville, the saving grace of the whole evacuation process, because it's been very stressful, was finding this bookstore. It's called Chamblin. As you guys can see, I'll give you a close-up here. Sorry for the squeaking, that is Jackson with his toy, if you can hear it. So, the location I went, it was called the Chamblin Book Mine. There's also a location uptown, but I went to the one that's called the Book Mine. And it is literally, it says the square footage on here. So the store is 23,000 square feet. Oh my freaking god, it was like tunnels and tunnels and tunnels and aisles of crazy goodness. Awesome stuff. It was like heaven on earth. Really, honestly, I could have spent days in there, but I only had a few hours. I actually spent way longer than I was supposed to spend in there. And yeah, it was just a lot longer than I anticipated. And I even put stuff back because I was getting so much stuff in my baskets and I was having trouble bringing it to the front of the place. And I'm hoping to go back before we leave Florida on our way out of town to go home, but we'll see. But yeah, this place is freaking amazing, and they had an entire room of horror. So let's go through only part one of the finds that I found from this place, because I'm going to do a whole other video. I actually could do 2 other videos from what I found, because I also found a lot of middle grade and like young adult horror too. Mostly middle grade and kids horror, but still, we're gonna do a separate video about that. And I have more adult vintage horror to do a whole second video on that too. So it's 2 other videos besides this one. Lots to look forward to. Let's go into our first book. So I love this cover. This is probably one of my favorite covers, and it's really not super in your face. I just think the color scheme is incredible, and this creepy baby is awesome. As you guys can see, it's all raised and embossed. Just really nice, basically color palette in my opinion, even more than the artwork itself. Although we do have a very looming, creepy house in the background with a nice full moon. And even the spine looks very, very nice. And I also like the font on the back. So the front, we have a red font that says Dream House. On the back, we have a blue font that has Dream House with the taglines in red. And the main summary in white. Really love just all the juxtapositions of the colors on this thing. So it says,
Dream House, it's where your nightmares live.
And this is by E. Patrick Murray. And it was published in 1991. This is published by Diamond. I love the cover. It's incredible. Makes my jaw drop a little bit, to be honest. And I love how the red balloon matches the red font. And there's like a ghostly figure there in the window. And here we have a book where I honestly don't even know how to pronounce the title of this book. The Hoonigan? I don't really know. But this is by J.N. Williamson. And I've said this before. J.N. Williamson has some amazing covers for his books. They just almost always really knock my socks off. This one's kind of cool. It's like some kind of ghostly figure coming out of a perfume bottle or something. You could see the glare of my phone, I'm sorry, and the reflection. I gotta get this, some of the sticker off right here, but that should be easy.
It fed on fear and feasted on abject terror.
Here we have a well-known paperback from hell. This is featured in the book for sure, Paperbacks from Hell. This is Evil Eye, and I can't believe I found a copy just sitting there at this awesome bookstore in Jacksonville, Florida, while freaking evacuated. I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time going through this one because this, if you're a collector and you like to look at vintage books, a lot of people have seen this one already, but man, is it incredible. This was published by Leisure, and it was published in 1989, the year I was born. So it's 32 years old, and I freaking love it. Here we have another cover that could be considered a little bit subtle, like some of the other ones I've shown before in the past. And I do think that Charles L. Grant's covers are kind of subtle overall, everyone I've seen. But they work. They all work. And I like this one especially because of the stark difference between the yellow flowers and the blood on the flowers. And if you look close in this window here, you can see, I think it's like a skull moon or something. It's very hard to tell, but it's definitely not just a plain reflection here. There's something going on there. There's like a face there. I love this, especially because of the yellows. They just pop out at you. Great find. This was published by Tor, and it was published in 1990. And I'm happy to add to my Charles L. Grant collection because I've got quite a few of his books now, and I keep adding more. And actually, this is a spoiler, I've got more Charles L. Grant books in this whole pile I'm going to show you today, so stay tuned for more Grant in just a few minutes. And here we have a book that I'm quite intrigued by. I do want to read this one. In fact, it matches a prompt that I created for a readathon that I'm going to be doing in November. I haven't officially decided yet that I'm going to read this one for that particular month and my readathon in November, but it's looking like I will. This was published by Pocket. It's The Troop by Gordon Linsner, and it was published in 1988. Let's take a closer look here at the cover. You could see these dudes, this troop of guys, looking kind of demonic and possessed or something. What are they up to? So I actually looked this up on Goodreads, and Grady Hendrix's review intrigued me a little bit. So he said something about, it was like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and something else mixed together, but the alien species kills people by making them breakdance to death, or something along those lines. Something about breakdancing in vans, and I was like, this is very strange. I want to read it now. He only rated it 3 stars, whereas he rated something like Toy Cemetery a lot higher, which he also considers very zany and weird. So where does this fall? He obviously described its zaniness, but did he like it? Because he only gave it 3 stars. I don't know. I've got to see for myself, so that's why I think I'm going to read this in a few months. So look forward to that and giving you my thoughts on that. I can't wait to dig in. One more look. I really like the blue and the pink on the cover. Very neon. Very 90s feeling to me. Even though it's from 88. The Gifted by Jack Caravella. And I love this one. It's just a kid with lightning bolts shooting out of his hands. But what's better than the cover is the descriptions. So this is, of course, a zebra title. You can kind of tell by the over-the-top cover a little bit. It's just zebra. So wonderful. The spine's pretty messed up, but I don't care. The cover is where it's at. And if the cover is okay looking, I'm like, heck yeah, I'm getting it.
Paul Walker didn't know about his special deadly talent until the most horrifying night in his young life, the night he swore never to use it again. The people at the orphanage didn't believe Paul's version of what happened that terrible night, but Paul knew the truth. He had the power to kill with his mind. Business executive Brian Cornman believed his new stepson's tale. In fact, Paul's special gift was the reason he'd adopted the boy in the first place. Paul would be the perfect weapon to help Brian build the ultimate power, and he wasn't going to pass up the chance to use it. Now Paul is left with 2 choices: kill with his mind, or run for his life.
By the way, guys, I'm not making fun of these books when I read the descriptions, and I've said this before, but in case you're new to the channel and you're like, oh my god, she's totally disrespecting these vintage titles and making fun of them, I am not. I love these vintage titles. I love the cheesy descriptions. It's part of the fun. I'm not saying the books aren't good. A lot of these descriptions and over-the-top covers make me want to read them very much, and I really love and respect vintage horror because it's a joy to dig into, and it's just a lot of fun. So in no way am I trying to put it down or make fun of it. I'm just trying to be entertaining with the way I'm reading it, and it's a lot of fun to do voice effects and video effects when I'm reading the descriptions versus me just reading them like plainly. No one wants to listen to someone just read plainly, so anyway, that's why I do that. So here we have another fantastic flippin' cover. This is The Lake by R. Carl Largent, and I don't know, you don't really have to say much about it except it's freaking badass. I even like the way they kind of emphasize the waves here at the top, right before this creature's about to surface. I think this is incredible. The art is just so detailed. It knocks my socks off.
A watery grave none can escape. The Lake.
Yep, here it is. I teased that I was going to show you guys another Charles L. Grant book that I had found at this awesome bookstore, and here it is. This is In a Dark Dream, and creepy guy. Lightning bolts coming out of his face, and he's green. And the font is also green, just a different shade. This was published by Tor. Not too shabby in terms of the spine. Looks kind of nice. This one was published in 1989. Here is one that I've been looking for quite a while. Life Blood. Let me get it in focus for you guys. Look, just this fantastic, completely textured cover. And you can even see there's bats flying around in the background there. Look at that, look at that. You know, not in perfect condition, but I'm still in love with it. I still think it's a dreamy cover. And look at the back's even better. It's like that there's a sticker there, but this is like a coffin shape on the back. Come on. Here's another wonderfully trashy and cheesy 90s novel. This one was published in 1993. This is published by Pocket Books. This is The Substitute Teacher.
She gives lessons in terror.
So glorious.
Mary Margaret McCarthy is more than just another substitute teacher. She's an instrument of divine wrath. Mary Margaret loves children. She knows that only she can save them, but first, she must teach them to obey, or die.
So this cover is nearly perfect. Nearly. Of course, there is one little crease, unfortunately, but that's okay. It's still incredible, marvelous cover with lots of great popping colors here. And of course, you guys know, I love a good hand reaching out from beyond. This one's reaching out from a lake, whether it's a lake or a grave. I like a hand reaching up for somebody, or even just reaching out into the air like, I'm gonna get you. This is so awesome. And I would have been even more surprised and floored by it had I not already seen it once before on a video. And of course, whose video did I see it on? I saw it on one of Cameron's vintage horror bookshelf tours, and once I saw it in person, I was like, oh my god, it's that book that I saw on one of Cameron's videos. I must have it. And I would have wanted it regardless of if I had seen it or not. But yeah, I was like, I can't believe I found it. It was almost like finding like a piece of treasure that you knew existed but never thought you'd find. So this one's awesome. I just love her pink dress and her like dressy shoes, and then like the stark contrast of this like witchy, creaturey hand. Again, this is, I didn't even say the name, this is Dark Miracle by Stephen R. George. And by the way, Stephen R. George has some great covers as well. I talked about earlier how J.N. Williamson has great covers. Stephen R. George is another person, another writer, who has great covers on his novels. I have never seen this cover before. As soon as I saw it on the shelf, I said to myself, I need this in my life. This is Entity by Nina Mandalik. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Look, he's got like a messed up hand. This one was published by Diamond in 1991. And yeah, let's just take one more look at this guy's face, if I can get the glare away. And it's all textured, like you could see where the face is like caved in. You could see the muscle below and this really creepy blue eye. A knife is into his chest there. He's got ripped up clothes. It kind of looks like a heart, where his heart would be. Look at this, look at this. I never noticed this till just now. I'm just noticing this is kind of ironic and cool. Anyway, and there's that peeled back hand, no skin, just muscle and bone.
They're fighting a war at Fort Riley. The living versus the dead.
Heck yeah. Here we have Unholy Ghost by Claudia Davison, and I like this one quite a bit. Of course, we've got a door with a lock, but if you look closely, there is some smoke coming out of the door. Like, you know, the door cannot contain the evil beyond. It's just incredible. But, like I said, if you look even closer, the smoke leads up into a face that has some fangs and just some creepy features. Spooky and fantastic. Here we have another subtle cover, but I think it works. I've shown quite a few simple covers and subtle covers, but I've also shown some insane ones. But what the simple ones have are usually very nice, contrasty colors that just really appeal to your eye. They're very visually appealing overall. This one was published by Tor. This is The Grange by R. Chetwynd Hayes. And if you look close, you'll see a haunted house looking thing, kind of like a castle almost, actually. Definitely not just a regular house. Then you see this nice orangey reddish text. It's got a bit of orange and a bit of red, and that looks great against this dark black background. Screams kind of Halloween-y, but it's got more of a red tint to it, and it's not just orange. Then we've got a matching moon. It matches the font here, the typography color. I like it a lot. I really do. Here we have a book by Al Sarantonio, and you know, he's known for writing a lot about Halloween, but here he's writing about a carnival, and I bought this one. The cover's okay. It's cool. I mean, it does have a Ferris wheel on it. But I bought it because of the subject matter. Anything to do with cool, creepy carnivals, fairs, fun houses, clowns, I'm all for it. I'm there. I want to read about it. I just love that setting in horror. And I've talked about this before, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, if you guys have been longtime viewers, but I have to say it every time. Freaking scary fairs are awesome. They're just so much fun to read about. And also to watch movies about them too. So this says,
Come to the carnival and join the dance of death. Totentance.
I don't even know if I said that right. Totentance? Again, like you could see the circus tents, a creepy lone tree, a Ferris wheel, and then some like alligator looking reptilian eyes. It's not just any kind of monster eyes. It definitely seems reptilian and scaly to me. If you look super close, it looks kind of like scales.
The carnival appears overnight on the Old Scott property. Ferris wheel, mirror maze, midway, tunnel of love. Cold, monstrous eyes glare down as the bright music beckons through the carnival's wrought iron gates. Once inside, there is no escape from terror, from the dance of death.
Here we have the school, and I bought it obviously for the frickin' over-the-top, awesome school-like cover with the apple. Like, you know, you think of first day of school, you think of teachers, you think of giving them an apple. This apple is scarred, though, and it's flippin' bleeding, and there's a creepy lady behind it. Or maybe it's like a boy, I don't know. But anyway, whoever it is, it's creepy. Oh, it's a girl, because it's got flippin' fingernails. So I actually found two editions of this book, a BMI edition and a leisure edition. BMI and leisure are connected, but this edition, the BMI one that I bought, has awesome raised typography here on the cover, whereas the leisure edition I found did not. So I bought this one because I liked just the textured text on the cover. The school. The tagline says, "Where evil is taught." Who knew? Alright, we're getting closer to the end, I promise. I mean, there is a lot of titles here, and again, I have 30 more that I'm going to do in part 2. Then I've got more, like I said, for part 3, which is all like the young adult and middle grade stuff that I'm going to go into. Really, it's really more middle grade, but yeah, I swear I'm getting close to the end here, but man, there's so much good stuff. And I know you guys might enjoy seeing it if you're fans of vintage horror anyway. So here's another cool one, and I'm really pumped about it because it kind of matches one of the books I already have, which is called Dead Man's Float. This cover really reminds me of that. This was published in 1989 by Pinnacle. And this is Razor's Edge.
A scalpel flashes in the moonlight, and another victim dies.
By Robert W. Walker. And the cover's brutal. I mean, look, the knife is slicing into her skull. I think she'd be a little more scared than this, but hey, it is what it is. Only one little problem with the cover, some tears there. You can see it's signed here. Since we're talking about Pinnacle, let's show another Pinnacle title that is very similar in art style to the one I just showed. This is Burning Obsession, and I like how literal the cover is. Like, the guy is, someone's holding a lighter in front of his face, and he's like, like, I don't know what kind of screaming face that is, but it's great. And even the hand with the lighter is textured, even the flame is textured. This cover is strange, but I freaking love it. I mean, it's not like scary. It's just really fascinating to look at. And this is also, by the way, by Robert W. Walker, just like the Razor's Edge that I just showed you. And the back, another copy of the same illustration that's on the cover. Really nice. I just love that artwork. Alright, we're getting into some of the real gems now. I've also seen this one on a few other people's channels. I know I probably saw it on my boy Leon's channel. He's got a channel called, Paperback Mania. I have watched all of his book hauls, so I'm sure he's shown this one at one point. I know Cameron's shown this one at one point, and yeah, I was always hoping to find this after I saw it on their channels, but I never honestly thought I would. This is Hide and Seek by William M. Carney, and holy shit, it's freaking the best. It's the best. It freaking makes me want to jump up and down and scream that I found this. When I saw it, I was like, ah. So yes, this is another zebra title, of course. I mean, look at the freaking cover. Kids in test tubes, and I don't have to say too much about this because people have talked about it before. It's, nothing that anyone who follows vintage horror hasn't already seen before, but to find it yourself is a whole nother thing, and you're just like amazed sometimes when you find some of these in person because you just think it won't happen for you, and then when it does, you're like, I can't even believe my luck. And it also makes sense that this one's from the 90s because it's very cheesy. This one's from 1991. I like how the kids aren't even that bothered. This one kid is just like,
Hey, what else? I'm in a tube. I guess I want to get out.
and she's like,
They've been kidnapped to serve a horrifying purpose, to turn little kids into machines.
I don't know why, whatever, I guess I'm doing the robot, that means machines, whatever, I don't know what I'm doing. Another cover that is just stupendous. I freaking think this is the bee's knees. This is the image, and as you can see, you've got a skull shape in this axe, and I guess he's crying, and he's like,
I'm crying, I'm sad, but it's tears of blood. Bitch.
Whatever. And then we've got a very sinister looking guy right near the axe. He kind of looks like he's fondling the axe, and he's like,
Yo, I like you, Axe.
and so I don't know why the skeleton's sad if he's got like a kindred spirit in this creepy guy, but whatever, he is sad apparently. This is another Leisure title, and we've had a lot of books that I've shown tonight that were published by Leisure, so I don't know why. I guess you could say it's like a leisure haul almost, a mini leisure haul. There's been other ones like we saw Pinnacle just a few seconds ago, and of course we just saw some great zebra titles, but I just feel like there's a ton of leisure here. The original title of this book was Eric's Image, and I actually saw the other edition with that title at the bookstore, but I put it back. I actually do want to go back and get it. It's a really cool cover. It's like black and white with these close-up, kind of look like stenciled faces. I do want to go back and get it. So obviously they changed the name. This is not going to have been the first printing, I'm guessing, if they obviously changed the title for this other edition. But still happy with it because I think the cover illustration is really, really well done. Okay, only 9 more to go. Sounds like a lot, but I swear they're all great, okay? They're all great. They're all great. So don't tune out because you'll be missing out if you do, because these are awesome. I'm really getting pumped. I don't even know which one to do last because I'm excited about all of them. So this one just is weird. I'm excited about this one. I talked about this earlier. J.N. Williamson, awesome covers. Stephen R. George, awesome covers. So here we have another book by Stephen R. George with a cover that is just the greatest. I don't know why they were like, let's give Stephen R. George the best covers ever. So this is Grandma's Little Darling, and if you look close, Grandma, I guess that's her, is reaching out, trying to kind of influence or take over this girl. And the coolest part of the cover is if you look really close, where I'm trying to zoom in here, to the arm of the rocking chair, it's a skull there on the arm, as you can see. Really nice detail there. I don't know why they thought of that, but it's just a nice, subtle little detail that you'd have to really look close to notice. And so basically, she is gripping the skull, but the cool thing is, so it's a young-looking girl, but if you really look close at her hand, I hope it focuses, that looks like an old hand to me. So after I read you the description, you'll see why this cover really matches what the description says about the book.
12-year-old Nora didn't want to mess up her chances of getting adopted by her newest foster family, so she didn't tell anyone about the strange feeling she got whenever she went near Grandma. The old lady made her feel creepy, like she could read Nora's thoughts, like she wanted to get right inside Nora's head. Grandma knew the little girl would be just perfect. No one would care what happened to her. No one would notice if she changed. And it would be so nice to be a child again.
So basically, like what? The grandma's trying to reincarnate herself into this little girl's body, basically like a switching body type of thing, or, you know, the grandma's soul goes into the girl's body. And that's why I think the hand looks like an old lady's hand. So even though it's obviously, this is Nora, and I think that's her grandma's hand because the grandma is kind of getting into her mind and taking over her body. Like, you know, her soul's in her now. I don't know. Awesome details there. Great stuff. All right, now I don't know if you guys are going to think this is as cool as me, but I think this is so cool that I found both of these and they go together. This is so cool. I mean, these are technically suspense, but let me just kind of get it in closer here. So this is The Bargain, and it's obviously the same book, but different just editions that go together. So this is by John Ruddy, and I love it because, so one side of it is, this guy is Hitler, by the way. I could read you some of the descriptions, but it's about Hitler and vampires. So there's Hitler, and there's like a vampire dude on the side. So if we go to the next one, then there's the vampire guy in the back and Hitler on the side. So it just reverses. Obviously, if you put them together like this, you see the vampire, Hitler, the vampire, Hitler. Just awesome. And the back's the same way. What luck? I mean, come on. It's freaking just so cool. I gotta get that sticker off. Whatever. I can do it. I just think this is great. I mean, what are the chances? I found them both and they're in really decent condition. This is published by Knightsbridge Bestseller. And like, again, I said it's considered a suspense novel, but because it has vampires, I'm saying it could pass as horror, okay? It's alright.
Was there a force more evil than Hitler?
Apparently, yes. This Count guy.
Two bloodthirsty dictators seek supremacy. For what was Hitler but another kind of vampire? But the Count doesn't like the competition.
So I guess it's like Count versus Hitler. I don't know. Seems pretty awesome to me and entertaining. Like, I would totally maybe enjoy reading it. Here's another book that was published in 1991. This one was published by Diamond, and I don't know why I like it so much, but I not just like it. I'm ecstatic about it, to be honest with you. We've got these hands clawing out from the darkness of what it looks like a tunnel or a cave, like a mine. And then we've got glowing eyes saying,
"Hey, don't come in here. You know, come in here at your own risk. Beneath the earth it sleeps, upon your soul it feeds."
Okay, only 5 left, and they're all insanely incredible and badass. They're just gonna knock your socks off. Alright, so people have shown this one before, but I'm just happy to have found it myself. This is Carvings by John Snellings. The complete detail in this is just fantastic. If you look really close, there's all these etchings in the back on this chair she's sitting in. You've got all the engraving on this chest. You've got the claws coming out with the dripping blood. You've got the great typography that perfectly matches the tone of the whole cover.
Their razor-sharp claws drew rivers of blood.
This is another leisure title, by the way. So here's the spine. and this was published in 1987.
Hacked from the diseased wood of a graveyard tree, they were nightmare figures covered with spines and evil markings. They hungered for innocent souls and thirsted for the warm blood of life. Buried for years in the dark confines of consecrated earth, they waited patiently for the awful moment of discovery, for the screams of agony, for the touch of razor-sharp claws on soft, human flesh.
Here we have another zebra title, published in 1988. I've seen this one before on other book hauls from other channels, but again, to find it in person, I was just, again, to use the same word as I used before, ecstatic about it. Because it's one of the best covers I've ever seen. In terms of the cool color palette, the detail, the creeped out kid here. Deadly Nature by V.M. Thompson. What can you say besides it's the greatest? And again, here's another zebra title. This one was published in 1994, and it's called Torment. We could see a creepy kid grabbing a normal kid through a mirror. And again, surprise, surprise, it's by Stephen R. George. Another freaking great cover for a Stephen R. George book. Who would have known? I knew, because his covers are always awesome for some reason and just really detailed and incredible.
Give me your soul.
She's dead, but not gone.
Here we have yet another leisure title, and I don't even know if I'm going to say the name right. The Rivard House. And I just love that there's a skeleton knocking on like a knocker. It's awesome, and we've got it on the back too. Here's that hand, a close-up of it.
Let me in. Abandon hope, all you who enter here.
And this is by F. Edwin Lamberth. Again, not much going on. I mean, there's a lot of brown in the background, but it's the hand that sticks out on that brown background that really just makes it what it is and elevates it to another level and makes me really like this cover quite a bit. So yeah, I'm excited about this one. Last one, and this one is kind of well known. It was featured in Paperbacks from Hell. This is another book by someone who has great covers. We talked about Stephen R. George. Well, who's the other one we talked about? J.M. Williamson, and this is Playmates. And yes, there's a different edition of this with like a kid and some like spooky things behind, but this is the edition that I really wanted. You know, it's kind of got like these leprechaun figures cut out, it looks like in blood. You got a pair of scissors. Yeah, it's freaking marvelous.
The bodies were found hideously mutilated in a peaceful Irish wood.
And it goes on to describe more about the story, but yeah, I can't believe I found it. And another theme of this whole haul, this one was published by Leisure, so some great Leisure books, some great zebra books. We had a few Pinnacle here and there, and a few other, like Diamond was in here. Just some great finds, and it ain't over yet, because I got more good ones to come in part 2 and 3, so stay tuned to the channel, please, guys. This has been the highlight of having to deal with all this hurricane bullshit, so I'm just so excited to share my happiness about this with you guys. Maybe it'll brighten your days too, because it definitely has brightened my whole week to have found some of these. In my opinion, they're gems and stuff that I thought I would never find. And basically now I've got to rely on out-of-town bookstores whenever I travel, because my in-town bookstore, I basically cleared out the horror section because, you know, obviously no one had looked at their horror section in years, and then I come along and I'm like, hey, here, this, and that. But once you do that, then you've got to wait for them to restock, because obviously people aren't going to be bringing in as often as when I just bought it all. And before I leave, I do want to say a quick thank you, as I always do. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch these long videos. This one was insanely long, and it's just because I had so much good stuff, and I just wanted to show it to you guys and share it with you. If you have any of these books, please leave it in the comments. If you've read any of them, I definitely want to hear about it in the comments. Which one should I dig into first? Also, which of these is your favorite in terms of cover art and stuff? I would love to hear your opinion on that. But for this time, that's it for me. Till next time, guys, can't wait to show you more, and keep on killing it. Bye. Thank you so much.